Hello and welcome to today's webinar where I'm going to be discussing Dynamics 365 licensing, and I'm going to be keeping it simple. Now, personally, I think that Dynamics 365 licensing has had a bad reputation to the point where when I've told people that I'm doing this webinar and I'm going to be keeping it simple, they've laughed at me. So today we're going to take a look at some licensing changes that have happened in recent months that people are still kind of unsure about and asking me about. So I'm going to make sure that I give updates on those. And I'm also going to discuss the difference between some license types, for example, professional versus enterprise, also how to license Dynamics 365 and the different licensing types. And we're also going to be taking a look at actually what is a team member license. So what can you actually do within a team member license? Is it really look but don't touch, for example? We're going to be taking a look at Dynamics 365 Business Central licensing and the new attached model with Sales and Customer Service Professional as well. And then just looking at some key resources that can help you along the way and really simplify this moving forward for you. So we are going to be keeping it light, we are going to be keeping it simple, and I'm going to prove that it's not something to be scared of delving into. So let's have a look. Now, personally, the best place to start, I would say, is let's start by having a look at what's changed in recent months. There's still some confusion when thinking about licensing and talking about the old plans, etc. So I really wanted to have a look at what's changed and just explain that in a nice, simple, easy way. So what you can see here is on this slide is basically the old licensing overview. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide. You'll see across the top there, you've got the free plans, the Dynamics 365 plan, which included all the applications for one user, the customer engagement plan, which included all the customer engagement applications for one user, and then finally the unified operations plan. So that was for users that required all the unified operations applications. So let's say, for example, you had a business user that required more than just one application. It meant that that user would need the plan. And as you can see here, it'd be the customer engagement plan in that example there. Now that doesn't really make any sense when you think about it. I mean, what single user will need all of them? And this is what made Microsoft realize and actually look at the fact that globally, over 80% of all users on a customer engagement plan were only using one or two applications. So they were really overpaying for the applications that they were using because they were paying for more than what they were using. So that's what led Microsoft to scrap the plans at the beginning of October 2019. So let's have a look at what this looks like now. As you can see here, we no longer have plans across the top. And now you can just build your own plans, so to speak, with the individual applications. You can see in the licensing application overview here, for each application, you can license it separately. There's no more plans. You can also see each application, whether you can license by device, user, or organization. Along with this, you can also view the additional licenses such as team members and human resources self-service. In getting rid of the plans, you may be thinking, well, if a single user needs two applications, do they pay for two full user licenses for each? Which would be a great question. So I just want to go into a bit more in detail as to what happens in that scenario. Now, what you can see here on this slide is not only the applications you can purchase, but how they can be purchased through both a base license or an attached license. I mentioned earlier that obviously that Microsoft did now scrap the plans. So now for users requiring multiple application use, or a multi-app user as we call them, you can have a look here at what happens. So let's say we have a user that requires both Sales Enterprise and Customer Service Enterprise. Would they both need to be purchased as a base license? No, they wouldn't. And as you can see here in this scenario, the base license is Sales Enterprise, with Customer Service Enterprise being purchased as an attached license. Now, the old customer engagement plans were actually were more expensive than this. So for two applications, and even for two applications for one single user, you'd be looking at a much cheaper solution now than the old customer engagement plan. So it's a much better value for money for the end user. The way in which you choose which is the base license and which is the attached license is really easy too. The base license will always be the most expensive application, with the attached license being the cheaper option. And the attached license prices are so much cheaper to purchase as well. So actually for enterprise licenses, like you can see here, you'd be looking at about an 80% discount compared with a full base license price. And for professional, it's about a 70% discount. So incredible value for multi-app users. And this base license and attached license model is the same across customer engagement applications and the unified operations applications. The only difference would be the price of the attached license. For the unified operations side of Dynamics, the attached license are a bit more in price than they are for the customer engagement. I will just say, if this was two separate users, one requiring sales enterprise and one needing customer service enterprise, then they would both need a base license. So nicely put, each user must have a base license in this scenario. So just to give a couple more examples of how this works, let's just take a quick look. As you can see here, we have one user with requiring both sales enterprise and customer service enterprise. And nice and clear here, you can see that one is a base license, one is an attached license. Instead of purchasing the all the way through the plan, you purchase the more expensive license as a base license at full price, with the second application being purchased as an attached license at a much cheaper cost. And that's to say, even if you have a user, wanting free applications, again, you would purchase the highest cost application as a base license, with the following two purchased as attached licenses. So as you can see here, we have a single user requiring three applications: Sales Enterprise, Customer Service Enterprise, and Field Service. The base license here is Sales Enterprise. Meanwhile, the Customer Service Enterprise and Field Service applications are purchased as attached licenses, again at a much cheaper cost. Now, one thing I'm often asked about is what's the difference between Sales Enterprise and Sales Professional, and then Customer Service Enterprise and Customer Service Professional. So I wanted to spend just a couple of slides just having a look at that as well, just to try and simplify that and actually show you where there's really good resources to help you having that conversation with your end customer to understand what they need. So as I say, this is something I'm often asked about: difference between professional and enterprise, what's required for an end customer. There seems to be a bit of confusion there, and also it's not common known about where you can actually go to find these plans and how to compare the two, and actually talk to your end customer about them, and even send them these links so they can decide what they require. So just to show these now, these are both on dynamics.microsoft.com. In the pricing section, you can see the links at the bottom of the slides for each one. On the left, you've got Sales Professional versus Sales Enterprise. And on the right, you've got Customer Service Professional versus Customer Service Enterprise. And it's nice and easy. You've got the functionalities there, and then a circle in the box if that application comes with that functionality. And the beauty of this is that you can access it at any time. So if you've got a customer inquiring, let's say, about a CRM solution, in order to understand what they require, you can talk to them about the functionality easily, drill down to what they need, so you know exactly which license is going to be best for them, by using the functionality there on the left in those tables to say, do they need this? Is this something they're interested in? To understand exactly what they need. So for example, on the sales example that you can just about see there in the bottom left screenshot, you can just about see that gamification and knowledge management are both included within Sales Enterprise, but not Sales Professional. So therefore, if a customer was interested in that and wanted that functionality, then they would need Dynamics 365 Sales Enterprise and not Sales Professional. These really are two great links that you can use. But remember, we at Ingram Micro are here to help you as well. And we have our Dynamics 365 Solutions Architects, our Dynamics expertise that can really support you, jump on end customer calls to help you scope out opportunities and ensure that we're getting everything right, as well as our elite service providers to actually provide the professional services and ongoing support. So we really have got you covered here. And as far as the base and attached license is concerned, there you have it. Hopefully that's simple enough to understand. The main thing to remember is, in a circumstance where you have a customer currently on an old plan, we need to understand what they're actually using as part of that plan, and then set them up properly when they come to renew. And we are here to help you with that as well. So, and then when it comes to a brand new customer, the plans just don't exist anymore. So just ignore them. And we just need to understand exactly what they need Dynamics 365 for. What business problems are they seeing currently? What do they need to use Dynamics for? And we can understand which licenses are going to be appropriate for them. And then get them the applications that they need for those requirements. And again, we're here to help with that too. Hopefully that's a good overview of the base and attached license model, and you've got a better understanding of that now. So now we're going to take a look at how you actually license Dynamics 365 and the types of licenses that are available and what that means for you and your end customer. Okay, so when it comes to licensing Dynamics 365, there are two different types of licenses, user and device, except for Dynamics 365 Marketing, which is licensed per tenant, but we will come on to that a bit more later on. Firstly, looking at the user SL meaning subscription license, you're going to be hearing a lot in this presentation, so I'll just cover that one off now. User SLs are the more common way Dynamics 365 is licensed, meaning it's a user that would require their own license, and each user can then access Dynamics 365 through multiple devices. Users are classified in two different types. You've got a full user. Full users require full functionality of Dynamics 365, whether it be enterprise or professional versions, and an example could be a salesperson or a customer service agent. Additional users, now they're often a large percentage of a business requiring Dynamics 365 to complete light tasks, and it would be licensed with a Dynamics 365 team member license. And again, don't worry, we are going to go into that in a bit more detail shortly. Now, looking at the device SL, with a device SL, any number of users can be licensed to one device. With the customer engagement applications, there is no difference in capabilities between user SL and device SL. However, with the unified operations applications, there are actually more limited capabilities when using a device SL compared with a user SL, just to make that one clear. And an example of a device SL could be that with Dynamics 365 Commerce, as an example, multiple store assistants requiring the access to one device as a point of sale, or even multiple users in a warehouse, all using one or two devices and not each of them requiring their own license and their own device. So as you can clearly see in this slide, there's two ways of licensing Dynamics 365, per user, which is probably the most common way, and then per device also. Now, there are just a few more points I wanted to cover off about how, when it comes to actually licensing Dynamics 365. So, for example, there are minimum requirements for certain applications. For example, with Dynamics 365 Human Resources, a minimum of 5 base licenses must be purchased. Or even Dynamics 365 Finance, where there is a minimum of 20 licenses that must be purchased as base licenses. But don't worry, it's not for all the applications. And in fact, the licensing overview slide that we went through earlier did actually say for each application that has a minimum requirement, the minimum requirements were in the boxes along with the application name and whether they can be licensed by a device or a user or a tenant. And I will just say that also the Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace has got you covered with this. It's automatically enforced so that when you purchase those applications, the minimums are already in place so that you can't go wrong. And you can always check the Dynamics licensing guide as well, which can be found on the pricing page on the dynamics.microsoft.com. And more importantly, you can always just ask. That's the beauty of working with us at Ingram Micro. We've got the expertise to help you. You can even license external users. So external users, user access is included with the organization's internal user SLs. Dynamics 365 customers have the option to license a portal to provide access to business processes or internal data for external users. So just for example, an external user could be an accountant or a contractor. This is actually a great example of why accountants are actually at the front of driving digital transformation in businesses. Using a solution like Dynamics 365 even Business Central, for example, which we'll come on to shortly. But accountants are able to access and do more for their clients because they're using a solution like Dynamics 365 to manage their finances. They can access that data and do more for them. So it's better for the accountant, it's better for the partner, the customer, sorry. One big advantage of Dynamics 365 also is the dual use rights. Ability to deploy both in private on-premise and partner-hosted cloud simultaneously. Users with a user SL wouldn't need to purchase two separate license types to access both. Dual use rights is a great way also to enable a smoother migration from on-premise to the cloud. You can see a little bit more information there in the table at the bottom, taken directly from the licensing guide. Before just moving on, I'll just point out on this slide again that you can see in the individual box for each application, you can see the minimum seat requirements for each. You can also find the Dynamics licensing guide. You can find all this information there. And as I say, it's all enforced on the cloud marketplace, so we have got you covered there. Now, I did mention earlier around Dynamics 365 marketing and how it's licensed differently. So you'll notice in the icon on the marketing boxes there that are flashing, that it's licensed per organization or per tenant. So let's have a little look at that now. I'm going to go into a bit more detail as to what that means for the end customer, what that means for you, and how that's actually licensed properly. The marketing application is actually licensed per tenant and is based on the number of contacts used in marketing. The administrator will need to assign user licenses through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to marketing users that need access to the Dynamics 365 marketing application. Since marketing is a tenant-based license, customers may install, use, and configure one marketing application with only one Dynamics 365 instance. So the beauty of this is no matter how many users in a business in that marketing team, you only need to purchase one Dynamics 365 marketing application. The only thing you would need to do in addition to this is purchase additional capacity add-ons should you need more than 10,000 contacts. There are two ways to purchase Dynamics 365 marketing. You can purchase as a standalone application or as an attach application. But what's the difference and how would you know which one to get? That is the important question. So Dynamics 365 standalone, if an organization doesn't currently have 10 full users in total from sales, customer service, field service, project service automation, finance, supply chain management, the application would be purchased as a standalone application and consisting of 10,000 contacts. Dynamics 365 Marketing Attach. This is for customers with at least 10 full users in total from sales, customer service, and those Dynamics applications. And again, the entitlement is consists of 10,000 contacts. So just to clarify that, if you have a business and let's say, for example, they're using 5 users of sales professional, 3 users of customer service professional, and 2 users of field service, that's 10 full users in total. So in which case they would be eligible for Dynamics 365 Marketing Attach. And that's the same, let's say they got 10 users of sales professional. Again, it's still 10 full users. So again, eligible for Marketing Attach. And the beauty of that is actually the Marketing Attach license is about half the cost of the marketing standalone. So team member licenses. Now, this is one that causes some confusion. So I wanted to spend a couple of slides just looking at team member licenses in a bit more detail and other additional users as well, because there seems to be that kind of preconception that they are look but don't touch licenses. So I want to go into those in a bit more detail now, just so you can see the capabilities and the functionality that's actually available to team member users. Additional users like the team members or human resources self-service aren't actually subject to the base and attach license motion and may actually access all applicable Dynamics 365 applications within the constraints that I'm going to be going through in the coming slides. They can't do everything that a full user can do, but you'll be surprised actually as to how much they can actually do and the capabilities within a team member's license and actually the value of that license as well. The team members user SL enables users to read Dynamics 365 data generated from finance, supply chain management, commerce, human resources, and the customer engagement applications. As you can see on this slide here, if you have a user requiring team member licenses for both customer engagement applications and the unified operations applications, then they would actually need to be licensed for both. However, at £6 a license, you really do get incredible value. For a user wanting just to see, let's say, the customer engagement applications, then they just need one of those licenses. The team member subscription is a named user subscription designed for users who are not tied to a particular function, i.e. only sales, but who require basic Dynamics 365 functionality. This license entitles the user to lightweight access throughout designated scenarios built into the team member's experience. The team member's user SL grants a user access to participate in limited specific set of functionalities, as again you're going to see in these coming slides. Also, just so you are aware, team members' use rights actually includes operations and human resources self-service user rights. So when I come to talk to you about human resources self-service license, if you have a team member user, they won't actually need this as well. But a full user, let's say someone using Sales Professional, would actually need access to that and would actually need to be licensed on that, for example, for things like booking time off. So let's just have a look at team members and human resources self-service now, and we'll start off with team members. Okay, so starting with the customer engagement applications and what does a user actually get as part of that. So let's just have a look at this now. Okay, so from a team member user SL, it grants a user the following sales, customer service, field service, or project service automation rights for their own use and not for or on behalf of other individuals. So it's for that user with that team member license. So what can they actually do with that team member license? They can create, read, update, and delete contacts, activities, and notes, update personal employee information, record time and expense for project service automation and apply for projects, user reporting and dashboards, participate as an end consumer of Dynamics 365 services such as responding to surveys. And the team member application module may be customized with a maximum of 15 additional entities, and that includes both custom and out-of-the-box entities. Okay, so now let's have a look at the unified operations applications and what does a team member user actually get as part of that. So the team members user SL grants a user the following finance, supply chain, commerce, and human resources rights for their own use and not for or on behalf of other individuals. To record any type of time, to record any type of expenses, manage personal employee information, manage human resources activities of direct employees or those reporting up through the user's reporting chain, create requisitions, create or edit the items related to the following capabilities, quality control and departmental budgets, approval of time expense invoices. Team member application, again, the module is maybe customized with a maximum of 15 additional entities, both custom and out of the box. So as you can see, looking at this now, team member licenses are incredible value. Definitely not just look but don't touch. There's quite a lot that you can do as a team member user. So for £6 a license, it's incredible value. Now you would need to have a full user of Dynamics 365 before you can purchase team member license. I'll just put that caveat in there now. But the value that you can add to a business with these lightweight licenses is incredible. And no other solution like this, like an ERP or CRM solution, has that kind of license. So it's incredible value from Microsoft and incredible value in Dynamics 365. These team member licenses really do add value to an end business. So, it's definitely worth knowing about, understanding what a user requires, because, not all of the users within a business might need full user access. They might just need team members. So it's going to save some cost, but also just add incredible value and help them grow their business to the point where they're adding additional Dynamics 365 licenses elsewhere in the business as well. Now we're just going to take a little bit of a look at another Dynamics 365 additional license, which I mentioned earlier, which is the Human Resources Self-Service license. So the Human Resource Self-Service license, user SL, only applies to Dynamics 365 Human Resources application, but does not include the use rights of a full human resources user, but enables access to employee and manager self-serve capabilities such as updating personal employer information, managing human resources activities of direct employees or those that reporting up through the user's reporting chain, report sick leave, submit a vacation request, view employee benefits, approve employee leave as a manager, view employee information as a manager. So, as you can see here, this is really empowering employees and businesses to provide a better HR experience, and it's an easy to use solution for employees. It's absolutely incredible. Really great value as well. This is actually costs less than a team member license. And I will just say as well that if you have got users that are licensed as a team member, then they will automatically have access to this. A full user won't. You need to license them separately, just to let you know. But that's a Human Resources Self-Service license. The capabilities are great. The value that adds to a business is brilliant as well. So it's definitely worth knowing about, definitely worth understanding. And again, as part of our Dynamics 365 Accelerate program, this is something we also offer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a little look at Dynamics 365 Business Central. We're going to look at the different licensing types and the difference between Business Central Premium and Business Central Essentials. We're going to have a look at the attached licenses available for Business Central and to increase the value of Dynamics 365 again by the integrations with sales and customer service. And again, we're going to look at the team member license. And just to keep it simple, I'm going to do it all in a couple of slides. So don't worry, it's not going to take too long. And a lot of it is very similar. So for example, the licensing types, very similar to what we've covered already. So, hopefully this will help it really sink in and make it easy to understand. What you can see here, now this is the way that Business Central was previously licensed, very separate to the rest of the Dynamics 365 stack, and nothing really supporting the link between, as I mentioned earlier, Dynamics 365 sales with Business Central. Even though they integrate so well together and often actually sold together, for example, an SMB organization with a big focus on sales, they may require more sales functionality. Therefore, we'd see that organization purchase Business Central and maybe Sales Professional for a number of users. And the same can be said about customer service really as well. So really commonly sold together, but nothing really linking the two from a licensing perspective and really beneficial for an end user. So, well, it has been a very positive change recently to the Dynamics 365 licensing. So when it comes to these applications, so however, it has changed now. So let's have a look at that update. So now when purchasing Business Central, customers have the opportunity to purchase customer service professional or sales professional as attached licenses, which personally speaking, I think is absolutely brilliant. This adds incredible value. As you probably already know, Business Central is really for SMB customers to help them connect their financial, sales, purchase, inventory, projects, services, and operations and now being able to have even more functionality on sales and customer service at a lower price is going to add massive value to so many businesses. With Business Central also, I'll just point out there are no minimum license requirements. And again, if you're using team member licenses, you need at least one user on either premium or essential versions as a full user. And as for the capabilities of a team member license on Business Central, we'll come to that after. Firstly, I'm going to have a look at the different licensing types on the next couple of slides. And one thing I will say on a single tenant, you would need all of your full users to either be on Essentials or on Premium. I just wanted to point that out as well. Now let's have a look at the different licensing types. Now, Microsoft are actually keeping this very simple for me on this slide. As you can see here, there's two types of users again, User SL and Device SL. So just to recap each of those now, User SLs are the more common way Business Central is licensed, meaning each user would require their own license, and each user can then access Business Central from multiple devices. Users are actually classified in two different types again. So you've got your full user. Full users require full functionality of Business Central, whether it be premium or essentials versions. And an example of could be a salesperson or a customer service agent or even a finance employee, for example. Additional users, often a large percentage of a business requiring Dynamics 365 to complete light tasks, and would be licensed with a Business Central team member license. And then you've got your Device SL. So with a Device SL, any number of users can be licensed to one device. An example of a Device SL would be an organization whereby multiple users need access to Business Central, but through one single device. So a Device SL would suffice in that situation and wouldn't need all the user SLs either. So for example, a retail store needing one point of sale, but multiple users accessing that point of sale. Again, that would be where a device SL would be really beneficial for that kind of scenario. Now, I've already mentioned about how accountants in some ways are leading the message of digital transformation with their clients, and Business Central is a massive part of that, being really great for ERP software. Accountants being able to do more for their clients and do it easily and quickly is a massive value to the accountant, but then also to the business. And this is where licensing external users comes into it, really. But there are more reasons that you can license external users, and we can come to that. But I really want to go through this now, just so you can see what external users have access to and how they're licensed. External users are end customers and third-party users of the organization or its affiliates and do not require SLs to access Business Central. External users is included with the organization's internal user SLs. External users include offsite vendors, not on an employee-like relationship with the organization or its affiliates. For example, IT help desk vendors serving multiple customer organizations. External user access does not extend to the customer or the customer's affiliates, contractors, vendors, or agents providing business processes on the customer's behalf or using Dynamics 365 to manage any portions of their business. And you can really see here, how that's licensed, what that means. And basically, you can start to see really that using Business Central as a finance tool in your business and having your accountant able to access that data that you allow them to see can really add massive value, allows the accountant to do so much more, but then also allows you as a business to really gain much more value out of your accountant and gain more value to the business. So it's really this is awesome to see that you can license those external users, and you can really start to see how the accountants are becoming those leaders in actually driving digital transformation. And as previously mentioned, Business Central does also have team member licenses. So I just wanted to spend a bit of time having a look at what can you actually do with a team member license. Is it just a look but don't touch license? I'm sure you can guess by now that it isn't, but let's just have a look at actually what can you do. So the team members SL grants a user full read access to Essentials and Premium for that given tenant. In addition, the team members SL includes some limited use write access to Essentials and Premium. Team members users can use Power Apps to access Business Central within the bounds of their team members license included with the price of the team member license. And actually, that's something I've not touched on already, but within your Dynamics 365 licensing, whether it's sales, professional, sales, enterprise, basically any Dynamics 365 licenses grant you access to Power Apps and Power Automate as long as it's within the license. So for example, if you were using Power Automate, let's say you wanted to have an email alert every time your business was mentioned in a tweet, for example, you're bringing in a third-party application in Twitter, so that wouldn't count. That would be, you'd need to be licensed to do that. But when it's within just the applications that you're licensed to, you have access to Power Apps and Power Automate. So again, just add an incredible value. And the team member use rights also include read anything within Business Central, update existing data and entries in Business Central. Existing data are records like customer or item records, which are clearly already created. Entries means entries on which it is specifically allowed from an accounting perspective to update specific information. Approve or reject tasks in all workloads assigned to a user. Create, edit, and delete a quote. Create, edit, delete personal information. Enter a timesheet for jobs. And again, team members application module may be customized with a maximum of 15 additional entities, both custom and out of the box. So it's definitely not a look but don't touch license. It does include some great functionality for light users to make the most of Dynamics 365 Business Central and help an organization make the most of this as well. I want to also spend a little bit of time just looking at the differences between Business Central Essentials and Business Central Premium. A little bit like earlier where we went through what, some of the differences with Sales Professional and Sales Enterprise and where you can get that information. It's just to give you a bit of an overview as to why would someone get Business Central Essentials compared to Business Central Premium from a licensing perspective now. Now, obviously, Premium has more functionality than Essentials. I can say that now, which you will soon see. But Essentials will do just fine for so many businesses. As I say, Business Central is really focused towards the SMB market, and you're going to see shortly there's so much you can do. And what I will say is we have got other webinars and on-demand videos where we go into more detail on what you can actually do in Business Central. So this is obviously more focused towards the licensing. And one thing I will say from a licensing perspective before I show any sort of capabilities is that if you've got multiple users on the same tenant, every full user must be using either all on Essentials or all on Premium. You can't mix and match between the two. But what you can do from a mix and match perspective is if you had, say, a couple of users using Business Central Essentials and then team member users, that would be fine. What you couldn't do is have some people using Business Central Premium and some using Business Central Essentials. Just wanted to make that really clear before we go into that functionality to see actually what's the value in Essentials, what's the value in Premium. For the functionality in Essentials, as you can see here, it's brilliant for SMB businesses. They can do so much just within Business Central. Financial management, CRM, project management, supply chain management, human resources management, and warehouse management. And then for Business Central Premium, everything that's in Essentials, as well as service management and manufacturing. So I know this is a really quick snapshot, but it just gives you a good overview. But as I say, for a more in-depth view at Business Central, we have got webinars and on-demand videos that are available about Business Central and more coming soon as well. But what I would say is you can speak to us. We've got our solutions architect, we've got people like myself that can really help you understand the value of Business Central and the capability, as well as our elite service providers. And you can even look at dynamics.microsoft.com to have a look at the Business Central stuff there in more detail. And we also have demo videos available on our website on our Accelerate program, which is microsoft.ingrammicrocloud.com/dynamics. So you can have a look at that as well for some more demo videos. And now we are nearing the end of this presentation, but there's just a couple of more little things that I just wanted to make sure you keep in mind, including the fact that there are discounted rates for academic licensing and for non-profit organizations as well. The discounts are absolutely incredible, and actually we have an on-demand video coming up shortly focused on Microsoft in Education, which covers off Office 365 and Dynamics 365, so you'll be able to watch that as well. So if you'd like to learn more, you can check that video out, or again, just get in touch with us and we can talk through it. One key thing to remember as well from an education perspective is you no longer need to be an authorized education partner to sell education SKUs. You can do that now anyway. So it's relevant for all partners, really. Now, I did want to remind you of our Dynamics 365 Accelerate program as well, and what you actually have access to from a support perspective when it comes to licensing and so much more. So as part of that program, you'll gain access to Dynamics 365 experts to support you through the full sales process, a solutions architect as well to support when speaking to end customers, to help scope out an opportunity to ensure correct licensing is selected and understood by you, the end customer, and make sure that everyone's happy. Elite service providers, not only to support you through the pre-sales process, but who can also provide you with the implementation and ongoing support services. And there's so much more that we offer as part of this program, including marketing support, the implementation services, lead generation services, Cloud Ascent support to help you target customers better. We really do offer the best Dynamics program for our partners and for any partner in the channel. There's no risk and no investment to our partners. We take on that for you. So there really is nothing to lose and everything to gain. Increase churn rates, increase Azure growth, increase your modern workplace growth. All these benefits of transacting Dynamics 365 you get with no risk and no investment, which is just brilliant. For further Dynamics 365 licensing support, you can download the latest licensing guide anytime at the link there. What I will say is that licensing guide gets updated monthly, but you will find the change log at the top of the licensing guide to make it a little bit simpler. But again, we're here to help. I find it quite easy to find what I'm looking for in the licensing guide. Simply Control and F and search for what I need. But remember, you never need to feel like you're alone as part of Ingram Micro. You have access to us and we will support you. We have the experts to support you throughout your Dynamics 365 journey. And hopefully now that you see that, you know that we really do have the expertise to support you, whether it's licensing information, product information, implementation, anything Dynamics 365 related or even Microsoft related, like your partnership. We at Ingram Micro really do have you covered, and we actually want to help you. We have got a load of guys that love talking Dynamics, which you have access to. And that is everything. So I really hope you found this useful. I hope you see that Dynamics 365 licensing doesn't have to be as complicated as it's made out to be and how it's feared to be. And actually, I hope you now see that we at Ingram Micro really do have the expertise to help you with Dynamics and help you easily add Dynamics 365 to your offering and add incredible value to your customers. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch. We love talking Dynamics, and you can contact us at dynamics365@ingrammicro.com, which is discreetly showing there at the bottom of the screen, as you can see. But yeah, feel free to get in touch. I think there's more that we can talk about when it comes to our Accelerate program and how we can actually enable you to start transacting Dynamics and hopefully give you the confidence to talk Dynamics, but also that you have us and we can help you talk Dynamics and we can talk Dynamics to your customers so that you can provide it with our expertise to support. So again, thank you very much. And any questions, please do get in touch. Thank you.